I was ready with the video.
Okay,
Can
so
you
do
make sure your
we
microphones
Start
are
over.
on,
Yeah.
please?
restart the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Mover to seconder to open the meeting. Councillor Potier, Councillor Framboise.
Moved by Councillor Petier and seconded by Councillor Laframboise, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby opens the regular meeting of Council at 6 p.m. on April 15, 2026.
All those in favor? Carried. All of council is present today. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robertson Huron Treaty Territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Atikameksheng Anishinaabe. We also wish to recognize our neighboring community of Doki's First Nation. While we meet today, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous people and their culture. Can I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? Councillor Loftus, Councillor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of Council held April 15, 2026 be adopted as presented.
All those in favor? Carried. A disclosure of pecuniary interest, Councillor Framboise.
None, your worship.
Councillor Loftus.
None, your worship.
Councillor Potier.
None, your worship.
Councillor Lachance.
None, your worship.
And none for myself. Any announcements from council? I see none. All right. Okay, first item on the agenda, 3.11, report to council awarding supply of application for calcium. Michelle.
Thank you, Your Worship. So in front of council is the report to award for the supply and application of calcium chloride 35%. The municipality applies calcium annually on roads to suppress dust during the summer season. We typically supply and contract it. The municipality tendered for 200,000 liters for the 2026 operating year. That was due to increased gravel roads, Victoria and Cloutier. It's based on an estimated volume usage and our typical application rates. It was posted on March 18th, closed on April 2nd, and the submissions were opened publicly. The recommendation to council is to award the tender to Polar Distribution for the 0.4625 per liter plus applicable HST. This amount did come over the draft budgeted amount of $87,000 with a variance of $5,500. Again, this is based on the volumes that are in the truck that isn't consistent. So there could be less than the 5,500 that is based on the 2,000 liters, dependent on how many trucks are coming in with what quantity.
Okay. Anybody have questions?
Just wondering if consideration for the new subdivision, like Emily Street, is that included in
That's correct.
the? Okay. And last year, did we have to put a second application in Lake Road or no? I don't remember. There was something, eh?
We didn't do a second application. We had a tanker come in after we did the road rehabilitation. We're able to spread more than that truck on other roads that had more dust on them.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? No? All right. We have a recommended resolution. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Lachance and Councillor Potier.
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Petier, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles awards the contract for the supply and application of liquid calcium bracket 35% due in 2026 to Pollard Highway Products in the amount of $92,500 plus HST.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Next report is item 321, report to council fitness center hours. Denis.
Yes, Your Worship. As everyone got the news, Centre Univie, as of May 1st, will be opening on Fridays, which is good news for our residents and clients. The unfortunate part, the fitness center does generate
Thanks a lot.
some sound that interfere with client care within the clinic and in the reception area. Unfortunately, the location of the treadmills when they're running on them, they do pound down onto the floor. So that being said, opening on Friday, at minimum, we should consider adjusting our gym hours to close during the Univie hours. I'm going to try and find out if they're receiving clients, but even if you have, we can maybe potentially look at if they're receiving clients or just doing in-office work. But that being said, my main recommendation is to alter the hours on the Friday to close during their open hours, match the week. And the rest of the report is maybe looking into the future. We're going to come with a fee recommendation to amend the fees as we do every year. Maybe there should be some consideration to stave off the increase again another year because we are reducing some hours. I tried to look at the swap and the data is not accurate, but it's not, there's a limited impact. Not everyone, most people come after 5, after work. And again, there's a look at alternate locations, but I know in the bigger picture, that's a much bigger discussion. There's always grants coming up, and if there is intent to look at alternate locations, we can start looking at grants to maybe try to find the funds necessary to renovate a fair location. Because if you go anywhere on the second floor at the arena, as an example, the current elevator setup is not convenient, it's not conducive, the main entrance is, you have to walk through a lobby. There's a lot of renovations to be done. And without grant funding, it could be expensive. So that being said, if we want to look in the future, I have the I have CRRIF, but there should be a NES in there, so Community Sports Recreation Infrastructure Fund there. I guess I was carried away with my R's. So last year I applied for the roof, and I'm still, actually that grant is still pending, as I said here. I'm cross fingers, we'll find out in a few weeks. If not, I intend to reapply for that, but if there's intent, I can add, because now that's a recreational activity, or considered recreation or physical activity, and you would improve your chances of getting an elevator for the second floor. But that's a further discussion for council. I would have to seek, I would need direction for that one, but that's not a today move. The decision immediate is adjusting the hours, but looking into the future, we're closed the entirety of weekdays now, except for noon, from noon to 1.
Yeah. And so you believe that just with a resolution, let's say if we say we would want to look at putting it in the arena, a resolution would give you sufficient.
We have advance notice of this grant. I would come back with if there's agreement, I would come back with a full resolution to show that council is committed to maybe relocate the fitness center and maybe, and again, I don't know where the library is going to go, so there's a bit of
Potential of both, yeah.
Maybe the library would be better suited up there because usually libraries are quieter. Sometimes they run little
Computer?
No, when you sit down and play with crayons and arts and craft corners. They might have people running around, but usually they're smaller in size, with less thumping on the ground than somebody running a marathon on a treadmill.
Okay. All right. Any questions on this report?
Not for myself. I'm in agreement with the recommended resolution to modify the hours and hopefully to look for the future for the grant.
Yeah. Councillor Loftus?
No, I'm in agreement. I'm just glad that Univi's opening 5 days a week instead of 4.
Okay,
It's gonna be good for the community.
yeah, that's for sure. Councillor Patil?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with the recommended resolution. As far as the grant that you were showing here, Stream 1 is already, that's the one that we had applied for. But the intake for that is closed already, right? So if we were to try to do anything at the arena to accommodate the gym, we'd have to go, well, we wouldn't be able to go with Stream 2 because it's not really geared towards that, right?
No, so.
But there is a new fund,
Sorry,
new
the-
Stream 1?
The language is intake 1 and intake 2. Both intakes have stream 1 and stream 2.
Oh, okay.
It's like a sub-menu.
Yeah, okay, so intake 2
Is-
is still coming, is
Yeah,
coming up.
It's been announced, they're trying to promote it, but the director of this contacted me last week, and are you still doing a roof? Are you still interested in the fund? I said, yes,
Yeah.
sir. And I called them up, I had a little chit chat with them, so I'm just waiting for.
Perfect. Yeah, because I think it's, I
Because
think it
that-
has larger funding too. I think it has 300 million.
Yeah, the
funding for it.
unfortunate one with this one is 50%. So, example for the roof, I applied for 420,000, what's in the budget. And so the grant would be half of that.
Yeah.
So, and if it does come through, then we can keep that money and maybe apply it to maybe this grant intake.
Yeah, because it could show, like, I know it's beneficial to show revenue stream or stuff like that could benefit, like a multi-use facility. So even like, say the gym, if it were to be relocated there, for doing any structural upgrades or something like that, it could show increased revenue because, and increased usage, because you're going full-time instead of the part-time that it is now.
So, in the guidelines,
Yeah.
when I'll bring this back to council, there is very much an intent of multiple activities, especially if it leads to economic growth. Because if it's a center bringing more activities, it attracts people, but their end is multi-sports complex type of thing.
Perfect. Sounds good, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Lascelles?
Just a couple, everything, I'm okay with everything except for the hours. I'd really like to see that, like maybe if we're reducing it by 7.5 hours, maybe we could put an hour earlier, open at 4 AM instead of 5. You might have a couple more people in the pool. And then not noon to 1, if someone were to go to the gym and wanna get ready to work out for 1, well, I'll get, to work out for 2, you know, so I'm thinking like
Yep.
maybe make it 11 to 2 instead of 12 to 1. They're still, they can schedule their meetings and stuff away from that 3-hour block. They're on lunch for an hour, right? So,
Yeah.
and just leaving some time, because if you're only leaving it open for an hour during the, you might as well close it the whole day, and then what's the, you know, I don't.
I think it opens 5 minutes before.
But what, I think we have set it for exact noon, but what it take, unless you show up in your joggers.
I know I know 2 or 3 people that do show up at noon, and they do show up, they just have their running shoes to put on.
But there might, like, again, taking away,
Yeah, I know.
making it so they only have 1 hour during the day, I think is ridiculous. Personally,
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a waste of, we have so much equipment up there and money invested over the years, and taking it away completely during the day. At least if you give them an actual window of 3 hours,
Yeah.
it's still leaving an opportunity. To say you have to come in, it's like saying that the doctor's office was only open for 1 hour a day. It doesn't make sense.
Univi is open only 1
I'm
hour.
saying if it were to be the opposite,
Yeah.
it wouldn't make sense. So I think there's maybe some room for compromise here and having it open for at least 3 hours during the day.
I could reach out to Univi
Yeah.
and figure out the schedule, and especially if it's when they're not receiving patients, it may be an opportunity to like
Adjust it.
expand on
Just,
these.
again,
So I think that you
not
should
trying to
probably-
sound like a inconsiderate person here, but the people that are downstairs are getting their health needs tended to, but the people upstairs are also tending to their health needs.
Mhm.
So it's just, to just shut it down completely all for the whole day because they're complaining about noise, I don't think is, we can accommodate and try to work around it, but we need to leave the service available, in my opinion,
I
for
could
a few hours.
Yeah, we can inquire, but it's the rhythmic, like, and that they say that it's very disruptive to their clients.
So it'd
Uh,
be an hour in the afternoon, pretty much, right? Like
Well,
you're saying up to 2,
That's what I'm
so
saying,
it's
so
only
if
an
we
hour.
went from 11 to 2, 1 hour during their lunch, like, I don't know, they could try to schedule their heavier time or whatever around.
So when they built the structure, the treadmills are the ones that require the most amperage. So they did dedicated circuits right above the reception area.
But listen to
And
music
otherwise,
for
we,
an hour
we would have
before and
moved
after
those
lunch.
treadmills out of the way. But that's one specific issue where I'm stuck with those treadmills where they are, and they're right in this corner, right above where they actually moved even closer. Before they were taking blood over the bum 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 bum, but they only take blood in the morning. But now their actual reception is underneath the treadmills, which cannot be moved unless
It's been there for how long?
the
Couple
treadmill.
years? No, the reception at the front, 4
Uh,
years, 5 years?
yeah, it's been
I'm just,
it's been a while, but it's
Yeah.
I'm sure, if you gave 3 hours of relief in the morning and 3 hours of relief in the afternoon, it'd be a lot better than what they have right now, and then it still leaves it open for people to use if they wanted to. I don't-
Would 11:30 to 1:30 be a compromise? Yeah, then you're 2 hours, then you're a little bit more.
But you know what I mean, though, like,
Yeah.
I'm not home during the day. I know
Yeah, yeah.
some people,
We can try and see.
even people, if people retire or whatever, doesn't
Maybe
matter. They
inquire,
have a
we
routine, they
we
have
need
a
to
routine.
inquire a little bit before with
Yeah.
Univ to see if,
there's two ways about, we can inquire, or we can tell them we're gonna do a trial run to see 11:30 to 1:30 how disrupted it is, because it might just be right before lunch, so it might not impact them. Or it may say, they may come back and then we can readjust afterwards. I know it's,
Cause if you look at this, again, we own the fitness center at the top. If that was something that was privately run and we were renting out to, and there were two
Mhm.
tenants, you think we would be doing this? Like, this is where I'm kinda,
yeah, it's
So you're
the,
suggesting it for the whole week, right?
well, that's what they're saying, is during Monday to Friday,
Mhm.
right? Right, just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Monday to Friday now, it's 5 days.
but that's what you're asking here, so.
it's Friday, we're adjusting
Fridays.
Friday only at this
Only
point.
Friday, oh, sorry, I thought it was
Because
Monday to Friday.
right now, we.
It's only open,
We already did the compromise. We tried with the padded floors. We
Mhm.
spent, through a grant, it was I think $10,000 with the padded floor. And all it did is, instead of a sharp noise, it was a thud, thud, like a muffled noise, but the same volume,
Yeah.
which was unfortunate. It does save the equipment from being broken, but it was, the sound attempt was low.
but I think overall, one of the key takeaways from this is that maybe that's not the proper, if we wanna have it full use,
There might be
maybe
more
it's not the
people, if it was
location.
available every day for that extra hour above and beyond lunch, and you probably have more people using it. Is all I'm
Might,
saying.
yeah, could,
So they asked for Friday to be removed, and I'm asking that
Oh, no,
Monday to
they
Thursday.
did, sorry, just to be clear, they did not ask for Friday to remove. I just know that we've adapted to noise complaints in the past during, I'm suggesting that we should be preemptive
preemptive.
at this point to the noise. We can definitely leave it open and wait for them to advise us of noise. This is done, because I can't change the hours on it. I notice I have to, because it's a policy, set in stone hours, so I have to come to council, so I'm just advising council. We will have, I am anticipating,
Complaints.
comments from UNV, yes.
Yeah, and again, I think everywhere, we expand it from that 1 hour lunch every day. I think it should be open longer than that personally, so.
That could be the
If you-
compromise.
if
From
you
Monday to
started
Friday
earlier-
though, right?
Every
Yeah.
day.
Yes, yeah.
Not just Friday, every
Yeah,
day.
that's what I mean, yeah.
It's just, I think you get more usage out of it that way.
But it's
And
a
if
good
you could open
compromise.
open it earlier, 4 AM, I know it sounds early to people, but if it was open at 4, I might go every day for a little bit, who knows?
Okay, there's a comment, I promise right there.
I'm just curious why we close it though at 11. Is there a reason, or can we leave it open?
We close it, at 11 at night.
You can
Yeah.
go
In
till
PM.
midnight or something, but I'm sure if it moves to a different facility, it could probably be 24/7.
It could likely be 24/7 here.
It could,
Well,
no.
sorry, not
No,
24/7,
Like-
during the evening.
yeah.
Open only.
Cause I know,
Yeah.
like, I've been there, or, like, they won't lock you out. If you're there at 11:45, you can stay till, I've stayed there.
Yeah, they can't kick you out once you're.
But it's just-
There's nobody there.
Don't
Once you
forget your
leave, you're
person
out.
side door.
Yeah.
Cause these hours were, I guess, a long time. back when they had a staff there, they would have to kick everyone out.
Oh,
It wasn't
we
that
weren't
late.
even open.
It wasn't that late when the staff was there.
So I, usually
Go
the,
during the day.
so, for the hours, we had set hours, we didn't know what we were doing when we did automation. And it started at 6, and then somebody said, well, I have to leave for work at 6, and that's why we changed it to 5. The only reason it's not 24 is because we not, first of all, received a request. And secondly, you want a break in between where you don't want somebody having issues because there's no employees around. I've had 3 calls within the last 3 months of people inadvertently being locked out.
At what time?
One was 11 o'clock on a Saturday night. The other one was because it's weekend mostly, because in the daytime, when we're here.
So they were in the gym, they left and could not go back in,
It's
is
the
that it?
bathroom.
Yes, they went to the bathroom, the
Yes,
door
it's a
closed behind
bathroom.
them, and unfortunately, they
It
were
locks.
locked out. The other gentleman, I've forgotten, he went right to 11, forgot something in there, I think it was his wallet. He just left it there, it says, but first thing in the morning, he says, I need to get in, because he needed to get
His wallet.
his personal possession, I think it was his duffel bag with his stuff in. And the other one was a unfortunate time, the time changed.
Oh, yeah.
And they, for whatever reason, stepped out and tried to swap back in, but couldn't.
Sounds like all of your staffing issues would be solved if it was 24/7.
Yeah.
Leave it open.
Yeah, there's, for that, if you open overnight, I would definitely consider maybe a panic button for monitoring. Because right now, there's staff for the majority of the time. So 11 o'clock, there's still people awake. My number, well, the municipal number is posted there, so you can dial it if you don't forget your phone inside. But if that happens, they may have to be a call button or something for 24/7. And it's rare, because this was just unfortunate the last few months. There was a bit, well, this is common, it's like, why? But last year, maybe twice. So it's not a common occurrence, but it works well for all of them. They love the fact they can just walk up at whatever time and
Yeah.
steps in. But anyways, it was 24 hours is still work. Maybe we should have, like I say, a little safety feature, whether it's a panic or a push and monitoring station, or it rings somebody's cell phone.
Yeah. I'm not sure about, I know it's nice to have the 24/7, but I think we're not quite there yet for the panic button, because I'm thinking more of a scenario where there's somebody in there and there's somebody else with a fob that goes, and like, you don't know what can happen, like if there's somebody else that can show up at night at 2 a.m. and there's 2 different users that, I don't know. Is that risk?
And that's why a panic or a push.
Yeah. Okay, so, but I still, I'm in agreement, however, starting it up at 4. I think that's
Yeah.
that should not be.
That shouldn't be an issue.
An issue whatsoever. And for the noon extended hours, we'll go once around the block and see what happens, and I think the option, you had suggested,
11:30 to 1:30, it opens it up by an extra hour.
One extra.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about that?
No, I like that idea.
Yeah, Councilor, yeah,
Yeah, I'm in agreement, 11:30 to 1:30, it gives them that extra hour.
yeah,
So
it's
now
it's
instead
half
of-
hour more each way, and,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're talking about losing 7.5 hours a week, but now you're adding what,
5.
four,
Four.
and you're
Six.
you're adding
5.
2 total, right?
yeah,
An extra hour per day on those 4 days, and then an extra hour in the morning on those 5 days. So you're actually adding 2 hours of usage instead of
Only
7.5.
yeah, okay, we'll try that, all right?
7.5. Two-
We're
one
pretty
per
much
day is 4, and then
breaking even,
one a day for the 4 days, and then 5
You're gaining
for
5,
the
losing
hour
7?
early.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Getting for.
Moving on, because I know that we've got somebody that's on a time constraint. Report to council, updated on school lease, prepared by Denis.
Yes, at council's direction, I contacted the school board, and they prepared a lease. Unfortunately, they did present it in French, as their main operations in French. The price per square foot was confirmed at $285. So as traditionally, the renewal was always at the beginning of the school year, September 1st, so they kept that same schedule. So the rent would have been $3108, and this is for the next April to August, and the corresponding cleaning fee. And then for an example, this is an estimate because their traditional increase is to use CPI, but it shows the annual rent for the library space at $10,012.56. I did ask, input the agreement in the computer and asked to spit out the point of in English, so we can have an English transition. So I verified back and forth. It seems to be fairly accurate in terms of the what it's stating. Again, the term is for the, they're asking for a 5-year term. I did request that there be a early termination clause, which they did agree, and I think the early termination was at 3 months, and that's towards the bottom. And then the rest is standard language, what's included, what is not included, insurance, and what's cleaning or not. Renovations, municipality insurance, restriction, we can't sublease, it is a library space. So termination, here we go, by either party within 3 months written notice. Wherever, if we ever decide to move library, there's going to be way more than 3 months for prepping a new site to moving. So I don't see that as any restriction, and they didn't even flinch when I asked for that. They were very cooperative. And again, if there's any other questions, DSAB pod, if council, I don't know if it was this council, but we let DSAB put a pod in one of the empty schoolrooms. And so I had to let the school board know, and I put DSAB in contact with the school board, and they are continuing the use of the space at no cost. So they have an agreement together. OCOF is already signed the agreement. And I didn't get final confirmation from IFA. I'm just assuming at this point it's complete. And the only remaining item that staff will be undergoing is we have municipal storage there. And that should be done within this week, or at best, at latest, sometime next week. And we'll be out by the end of April. And we will be, it's mostly documents that we keep for 7 years and destroy after 7 years, on average. Might be some longer, might be some short. And we will relocate, that we have lockers at the arena. Because the volume of boxes today compared to 10 years ago, we're generating roughly 3 boxes
A year.
3 and possibly 2 next year, I'm told. So 21 boxes. That storage, I think at one point had probably well over 200 boxes. So now we'll be down to 3 times 7, 21 boxes versus 200. So
yeah,
we don't need the big storage. And that's it. Hopefully we were out of there doing like this. I know in cleaning, once this agreement is signed, we'll have a transition date. We're still cleaning. We will transition out once it's signed.
okay. Questions?
No question for myself.
Council Loftus,
No
questions?
questions from myself.
All right, Council Pate?
No, I'm in agreement. That's kind of what we're aiming for in the short term until we figure out the rest of our dilemmas.
All right. Councilor Chance?
Yeah, no, that'd be
You're good?
great, thanks.
All right, and I think it's later on that we have the bylaw. Okay, so we're good with this one. Next, item 323, report to council, Wishbone Day. Denis.
Yes, Your Worship. Councillor Laframboise inquired on raising the flag for Wishbone Day. Normal procedure would have went to committee of the whole, but because May 6th is our committee of the whole and it's a proclamation and it's a good intended, we know of a local resident affected. I know of two, another individual affected with this, condition. So I just felt to bring it up to council for declaration.
All right. Any comments or questions?
Nope.
Councilor Loftus?
No, none for myself.
No. Councilor Deschamps?
What does the flag look like? Is it like actually like a wishbone out of a turkey?
I'm not sure. Is there a flag?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring it.
Okay, there we go.
Other than that, no questions.
All right. And we have the resolution below, therefore. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councilor Loftus, Councilor Laframboise? Okay.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Laframboise. Proclamation of OI bracket Wishbone Day. Whereas osteogenesis imperfecta bracket OI, also known as brittle bone disease, is a rare genetic disorder characterized by fragile bones that break easily. And whereas OI affects individuals of all ages and backgrounds with varying degrees of severity, and there is currently no cure. And whereas May 6th is recognized internationally as Wishbone Day, a day to raise awareness about osteogenesis imperfecta, promote understanding and support individuals and families affected by the condition. And whereas increasing awareness and education helps foster inclusion, accessibility, and improved quality of life for those living with OI, be it therefore resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby proclaims May 6th of each year as OI bracket Wishbone Day in the Municipality of St. Charles. And be it further resolved that Council encourages all residents to recognize this day and support efforts to raise awareness about osteogenesis imperfecta.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, we are at the consent agenda. Any items that somebody wishes to have withdrawn?
None for myself.
No?
None for myself.
Okay. All right.
Just
Therefore,
wanted to say thanks to staff for the quarterly reports.
okay. Therefore, can I have a mover and a seconder for the consent agenda? Councilor Laframboise, Councilor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles approves the items of the consent agenda under sections 4.1, 4.4, and 4.8, and be it further resolved that Council receives the items of the consent agenda under sections 4.2, 4.3, 4.5, 4.6, and 4.7.
All those in favor? Carried. We are now at item 6.1, first and second reading of the bylaws. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councilor Potier, Councilor Loftus.
Just a second. Moved by Councillor Potier and seconded by Councillor Loftus. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives first and second reading to the following bylaws. Bylaw 2026-12 being a bylaw to enter into a company-approved helipad agreement with Orange. Bylaw 2026-21 being a bylaw to enter into a lease agreement with Univie Health Center. Bylaw 2026-22 being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with Le Conseil Scolaire Catholique de Nouvelle-Ontario. Bylaw 2026-23 being a bylaw to provide for the collection, removal, and disposal of waste, recyclable material, and other waste within the municipality of St. Charles. And bylaw 2026-24 being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2022-27 bracket AMPS bylaw.
All those in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the third and final reading of bylaw 2026-12 helipad? Councillor Framboise, Councillor Potier.
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Potier, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-12.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, mover and a seconder for bylaw 2026-21, Univi Health Center. Councillor Lachance and Councillor Loftus.
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Loftus, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-21.
All those in favor? Carried. Move into seconder for bylaw 2026-22. It's the agreement with the Conseil scolaire catholique Nouvelon. Councillor Lachance, Councillor Potier.
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Potier, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-22.
All those in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for bylaw 2026-23? 23, excuse me. Collection, removal, and disposal of waste and recycling. Councillor Potier, Councillor Loftus.
Moved by Councillor Potier and seconded by Councillor Loftus, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-23.
All those in favor? Carried. Mover and a seconder for third and final reading of bylaw 2026-24, which is bylaw to amend by the AMPS bylaw. Councillor Laframboise, Councillor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Lachance, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-24.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, we're at notice of motion. So this motion will be read. Item 7.1 from Councillor Laframboise.
All right, so we have a notice of motion by a member of council, Julian Laframboise. Hereby files a notice of motion to include on the agenda for the meeting of council, which is scheduled to be held on Wednesday, April 15th, 2026, subject provincial inquiry, part-time position 17 and a half hours, and request to report. To which notice of motion to read as follows, that council directs the CAO to provide a report outlining all attempts made by municipal staff following the January 21, 2026 regular meeting to contact appropriate provincial ministry staff regarding the request for the addition of a 17.5 hours part-time position to support local service operations, including dates, methods of communication, and the individuals or office contacted, and that the report include any responses received to date, and that the report further outline recommended next steps and potential escalation options, including contact with individual or additional provincial representatives if necessary to ensure timely communication and resolution of this matter, and that report be provided to council within 2 weeks.
Okay, so we're gonna bring this up at that next meeting. All right, now we are at the addendum, and we have an addendum tonight, so I would need a mover and a seconder to go into the addendum. Councillor Lachance, Councillor Loftus.
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Loftus, be it resolved the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the addendum to the April 15, 2026 regular meeting of council.
All those in favor? Carried. So item 8.2, item that will be, do I say this, or are you gonna be?
Just, you can say it would be discussed and closed.
Yeah, so there's It's a potential agreement with OCOP discussed and closed. Now we are going into close. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the closed session? Councillor Potier, Councillor Laframboise.
Moved by Councillor Potier and seconded by Councillor Laframboise. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby opens a closed session at 6:40 p.m. to discuss information explicitly supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board by Canada, a province or territory, or a crown agency of any of them as authorized under section 239 bracket 2 bracket H of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Topic, potential agreement with OCOF and MSDSB. Next, a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board as authorized under section 239 bracket 2 bracket K of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Topic, potential agreement with OCOF and MSDSB.
All those in favor? Carried. Oh,
2
is
minutes
there,
and we'll talk.
You have to
oh, we have the resolution. Tabanush, I didn't- Okay, mover and a seconder to return into open meeting. Councillor Loftus, Councillor Patier.
Okay, moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Patier. Be it resolved that having dealt with all matters pertaining to the closed session, we hereby reconvene to the regular meeting of council at 7:05 PM.
All those in favor? Carried. So now do we have to,
Give your report on closed.
do I do it in close or after we're in open?
We're in
We're in
open.
We're in open.
We're in open?
We're
Okay.
open.
Thank you very much. Direction was given to staff regarding the potential contract. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the resolution to adjourn the addendum? Councilor Laframboise, Councilor Loftus?
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Loftus. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby adjourns the addendum and returns to the April 15, 2026 regular meeting of council.
All those in favor? Carried. And now we return to the regular one, 11.1 confirmation bylaw, first and second reading. Councillor Lachance, Councillor Laframboise?
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Laframboise. Be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives first and second reading to the following bylaw. Bylaw 2026-25 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its special meeting of council held March 31st, 2026, at its committee of the whole meeting held April 1st, 2026, and at its regular meeting of council held April 15, 2026.
All those in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the third and final reading? Councillor Patier, Councillor Laframboise?
Moved by Councillor Patier and seconded by Councillor Laframboise. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-25.
All those in favor? Carried. Mover and a seconder to adjourn. Councillor Loftus, Councillor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that the regular meeting of council of April 15, 2026 be adjourned at 7:08 PM.
All those in favor? Carried. Meeting is adjourned.